Today I want to talk to you guys about my 3 favorite microgreens to grow. They're the ones I grow the most of and are the most profitable. That's coming up next on The Urban Farmer. I've grown a lot of different microgreens over the years, from bull's blood beets to purple opal basil to cilantro to even microgreen carrots. There's all kinds of microgreens out there, but I find there are 3, at least for myself, that are the most common and I can grow the most of and sell the most, and that's what's important to me. This is a way of making a profit and making an income, especially during the winter and cooler months. And so this time of year, it's the 2nd of September today, we're going into the fall and we're gearing up for the winter. And microgreens are a very important crop for us on the farm because they allow us to keep revenue going all winter long when there's not very much other stuff coming off the field. So there's 3 I want to talk about, and I'll actually approach them in their order of importance and based on how much I grow of all of them. So I know there's different ones out there that people do, but these are the 3 that I do the most of. So sunflower is number 1. This is the crop I do the most of. I plant the most flats of this every week. I find it's the highest yielding, and it's the one that's more in demand than anything else. A close second to that is pea shoots. So these are all ready to harvest, and we'll show in the video harvesting them. So pea is a close second. I plant almost the same amount of pea as I do sunflower. Sunflower is just a little bit more. And both of these crops, the pea and the sunflower, they're both really popular in the health community. So people juice them, they make smoothies with them, they go in wraps and salads. They're a crop that can be used in many different ways, and they can also be used like traditional microgreens in the sense of putting a garnish on a plate or decorating as a finishing touch in high-end culinary cuisine, but they are really popular with the health community, so people buy a lot of them. And for those of us who eat a seasonal diet like myself, during the winter months, especially the really cold winter months like December and January, for us, this is what I'm eating for salad all winter. I'm making salads with shredded root vegetables, sprouts, and shoots like these, and they're very nutritionally dense. So the 3rd one is radish, and radish isn't super popular with the health community. It's more of a crop that's used in restaurants, and I do sell quite a few of them at the farmer's market, but they're definitely more important for restaurants. They have a really pungent flavor. They're spicy like a radish. They have a beautiful appearance because they'll have a pink stem with a green cotyledon, and that makes them popular with the restaurants. So what makes these crops profitable is that they sell at a relative high price per pound, but they don't sell crazy high. I know some microgreen growers that sell smaller units and they end up getting $60 a pound for things. I don't get anywhere near that. I sell these at a relatively low price, like around $15 a pound. But for customers that buy a ton of them, I can actually even get them down to $10 a pound, and they're still profitable. The key is the density of your flat. So let's look at a sunflower shoot flat here. We've got really good germination here, a thick, robust harvest. A lot of the seed hulls have already fallen off, so like this is ready to harvest right now. And I will yield about 1.5 pounds on this flat. My sunflower yield is anywhere between 1 to 1.5 pounds. I find that in the wintertime I actually get a higher yield, or at least on the shoulder seasons, than I do in the summer. In the summer, it's hard we get a pound, but not much more than that. But that's okay because we produce a lot less in the summer anyways. So I get 1.5 pounds off that flat. Even at $10 a pound, that's $15 per flat. My seed cost on sunflower is around $1, and labor to plant it is around 50 cents. So all around, I've got about $1.50 of cost. The soil is a small cost. It's about 20 cents So let's just say I've got $2 of total cost on this, you know, even to make $15, so that's 13 net profit. It's not so bad, and I'll show you harvesting is done really quickly. So, you know, if you think about the space, these are 10 by 20 flats, so 10 inches this way, 20 inches this way. They're called germination flats, and they're just an open flat like this, and we just put soil in them, flatten them out. There's a previous video I did on that showing Jody Roebuck how to do them, but it's simple enough, and it's a high yielding crop, and on average they're 10 days to maturity. So I'll show you 3 different stages of sunflower shoots. So I plant sunflower shoots every Monday and Thursday. So these two here, those are essentially 4 days apart, and then I've got some here that are just germinating, and I can uncover them. So these ones were planted on Monday, so it's Friday today. These were planted on Monday, they're ready to uncover right now, and this is what they look like when they're uncovered. So this was planted Monday, this would have been planted last Thursday, and then this was planted last Monday. So it's about from last Monday to Friday, that's mature. So this is what happens in 4 days, from here to here, and then a little bit less than another 4 days, so about 2 days to get to there. So that's what they kind of look like in transition. So I don't plant pea or radish as often as sunflower, but I will show you what a pea shoot looks like once it's uncovered. So these ones, these were planted on Monday, so it's Friday, I'm uncovering them now. So that's what 2 shoots 1 week apart look like. They go from this to this in 1 week. Peas grow incredibly fast. I find once I'm in the winter and it's cooled down a little bit, sunflower shoots go to, they're about a 14-day crop, but pea shoots can pretty much consistently stay as a 10-day crop in a heated greenhouse throughout the winter with low light conditions. So this is, you know, at our winter solstice we get down to 8 hours of light. For that period, I might substitute light a little bit with lights like this that I've put on my shelves in the past. Last year we barely did it at all and kept our production going. So what I prefer to do with growing in the winter is just expect longer cycles. So I just, instead of putting the energy inputs into light, extra light, I just anticipate a longer growth cycle, which means I need more space to grow because then I'm going to have more real estate occupied for that. But I've set up for that. I can fit over 100 flats in here at once. Actually, I think about 144 calculated last. So, you know, I just plan on doing that. So that just means I'll push my planting days back to expect maybe a 3-week crop, maybe around the 2 weeks on the shoulder of the winter solstice, I will expect to plant crops knowing that they'll take 3 weeks to harvest. So you make these adjustments as you go. Okay, so for radish, here is a radish crop that we just looked at, and then I will uncover the ones that I just planted on Monday. So the radish isn't quite ready to uncover, but I'll show it to you anyways just to give you an idea of how it looks when they germinate. So what happened here is I got my edges dried out a little bit, and that happened because the flats are starting to lean over. But this one here is a better example. So fairly good germination on that one. With radish, I yield about 1 pound per flat, but I can sell radish at $20 a pound. It's more of a culinary thing. It's a lower yield. And the seed gets sprinkled on dry here, whereas the sunflower and the pea, I soak that seed and then plant it on wet like you've seen in the last video. But so these ones aren't quite done yet. I'll leave them for another day or two to germinate better. Okay, those are my 3 main microgreens. Again, my number 1 is the sunshoots, the sunflower. Number 2 is pea, and my number 3 is radish. There are dozens of other microgreens out there, but these are the 3 that I focus most of my energy on and actually have a pretty good economic impact on our farm. So now I'm going to show you guys harvesting them. In fact, I've done a video on this before. If you're curious about that, go check that out, but I'll show you the slight nuances of harvesting all 3 of these crops. For harvesting, I use a deadly sharp Japanese chef's knife. It's a $200 knife, and I keep it very sharp with my sharpening tool. And this is what I use. A lot of people use scissors. I don't use scissors. I don't think that's very time efficient or safe for your hand. If you do a lot of repeated cutting with scissors, your hand can cramp up, and I've struggled with carpal tunnel syndrome and tendonitis from my previous work as a tree planter, and so I've tried the scissor route. Doesn't work. The knife is fast. I can harvest a flat of microgreens in less than a minute, and I'll show you guys exactly that. Okay, so again, super sharp knife, and what I do is I like to use my hand to sort of push back where I'm grabbing, and I'm also going to grab chunks of it at a time as I cut. I'll have a bin next to me, and this is how we do it. So I'm cutting very low to the flat. I'm almost getting right down to the soil level. Key is you want to be grabbing chunks at a time. In a way, I think about the flat as 2 rows, and I just cut both rows at the same one at a time. So notice how much I'm grabbing in each hand movement. Okay, there's a flat of radish, less than a minute. Okay, let's harvest our pea shoots. So pea shoots are even easier to harvest because they're so easy to grab. Simple. Not even half a minute to do a flat of pea shoots. Let's do a flat of sunflower shoots. Sunflower is almost just as easy as pea greens, grabbing big amounts. And this is why it's so important to have a sharp blade, because it just makes it effortlessly for the knife to cut through. It doesn't require a lot of force. It can pretty much just guide itself. Done. So less than a half a minute there. And yeah, you got little debris here. If you want to take the time to grab that stuff, you can. I don't really care. It's a minor amount. It's sort of the Pareto principle thing that I follow. It's like, where's the sweet spot? For me, 80% is good enough of any harvest. So, I mean, obviously I'm getting more than 80%. To spend the time to pick off all these little things and go back and cut it is probably not even worth the effort. But again, that's for you guys to decide. So hope you guys have found that helpful. If you want to see more stuff like this, hit the subscribe button right now. Like and share these videos with your friends. And in my online course, I have a lot more information like this on microgreens. In fact, we've made other videos about it. I even write about it in my book. You can check that out at theurbanfarmer.co and my online course at profitableurbanfarming.com. And if you guys would like to make a donation to the show, it's much appreciated and always welcome. And it's been those donations that have really allowed me to keep making these videos, because YouTube revenues aren't really that big of a thing. They're pretty much non-existent because I don't really make viral videos with kittens and fails and stuff like that. So thank you to those of you that donate to the show, because it really allows me to continue making this content, because my goal with this stuff is to help people build the confidence and the skill set to get out there and do this and crush it. I'm not trying to make $1 million off YouTube. I want to do this to make impact. Having said that, I do need to make an income from this work, because if I don't, how do I justify the time? I am a business person at the end of the day. I have to run a farm that makes money so that I can pay to live and have a nice quality of life. So again, thank you to those of you that make donations to the show, and they are really helpful. So if you want to do that, you can do that at theurbanfarmer.co/support. All right, guys, thanks for watching.